Okay, it is 1400 hours, so we will continue with our program. So we've got another exciting panel lined up for you. We're talking about innovation ecosystems and research and development, and the importance of that for business growth in Zambia. And this session will be moderated by Mr. Silomeshi Mabasho. He's the co-founder and director of Bongo Hive. Silomeshi, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jan, and good afternoon to everyone that's joining us. Really excited to be part of this. Anytime we're talking about innovation, research, development, technology, I get really, really excited. So it's a great honor to be facilitating the session for you. We will end, I guess, promptly around 14:55, and we're looking forward to a lively discussion. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post those in the chat as we're going along. We'll try our best to accommodate you. So feel free to throw those into the chat. So for our session today, we have Dr. Lori Twomey. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Please correct me when you get the chance. CEO of KVS Foundation, and he's also a founding partner of Professional Publishing in Finland. We also have Ville Kairamo, again, please correct me when you get the chance to, who's the CEO of Demola Global. We also have John Samaras, who is part of SAMPE and is also the president of the Ndola Chamber of Commerce right here in Lusaka. Oh, sorry, in Zambia, on the Ndola on the Copperbelt here in Zambia. So thank you for all of our panelists for being able to join in. I believe some of you have slides, so we'll give you the opportunity to do a quick introduction to some of the work that you're doing. We'll start with Dr. Lori Twomey. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to join this session, and also had an opportunity to shortly listen some of the presentations today, and it has been truly a very, very wonderful day and a learning opportunity to all of us. And of course, it's always good to network and find new business partners and collaborative partners also. So what I would like to share with you today is one of the aspects of innovation ecosystems, and especially one specific part, especially from the higher education part and the changing role during these times, how higher education institutions could be more involved in ecosystem development. And that's, of course, one of my experiences I will share with you. I have had an opportunity to work for 10 years as vice president at the University of Applied Science, Hakahelia in Finland. And during those days also, all of the activities which enhance the development of innovations has been of one of my main roles. As said today, I'm CEO of Finnish Lifelong Learning Foundation, and also I'm founder of 2 companies, and Professional Publishing Finland is the latest one. So yes, maybe we'll take the next slide and discuss a bit about the specific role what higher education sector and institutions could provide to the ecosystem development. And also discussing research and development issues, I always would like to put the I in the end. So we need research in order to create something new, in order to learn a new and create new knowledge, but then we need to have development activities in order to create innovation. So these all 3 aspects are of importance, and how they're connected to ecosystems, I will also discuss that a bit. But during my working career and also raised from my latest research with my colleague Ritva Laaksomaninen, we have found specific aspects on which provide opportunities to these institutions to create and be active partners in ecosystem development. So the changing idea of what is learning environment all about is there. The learning is in the renewal phase, especially at this stage, and especially after COVID-19, we will see new innovations in learning environment development. So the digital platforms are and can be also learning platforms, but also the classroom structures will be changed to be more hybrid structures, connecting us more deeply with the collaboration of businesses. The traditional research and development infrastructures may provide opportunities to provide support for business ecosystems. So the technological laboratories or environments are and have been there for the decades already, but we have seen new structures, infrastructures also on service sector, and that's also a very interesting issue, thinking about the forthcoming years when the travel industry and service sector will be a kind of reborn after COVID-19. So this kind of infrastructure development is one of the issues which should be taken into account in thinking ecosystem development. Business within campus is a kind of mindset of campus development and educational environment development. So the businesses should be and could be more deeply connected to campuses and provide the opportunities to work and learn together with the students. And then, of course, one of my specific interest areas is the startup development and academic entrepreneurship. These are the main hubs on connecting students with the business life from the early steps of their studies to the graduation. And the new kind of startup ecosystems based on the communities of students is of importance, and that has been discussed today also a lot. These four kind of main enablers for business ecosystems is a very good start. But what we have found on our research is that the higher education institution itself could become entrepreneurial itself. OECD has created a framework, and this kind of framework we used on our study, and we found a strong correlation between the ability of the higher education institutions to be more deeply in collaboration with businesses. Entrepreneurial higher education institution means that in the strategy, entrepreneurship is already there. So it means that from the governance level to the actually covering all the activities of higher education institution, entrepreneurial thinking and mindset is there. So the competencies of university staff members and even the managers, directors, presidents, all are seen from also from the entrepreneurial competence part, and that's not kind of the traditional way to think about academics in their working life. So this is a new opportunity for institutions to develop the new kind of role. And of course, the actions are important, how these institutions provide support for students to become entrepreneurs, to learn entrepreneurial thinking, and also to have opportunities to work with and learn with the companies. So as a key for this ecosystem development is, of course, the higher education and business collaboration. So we could take the next slide. Thank you. In Finland, we have seen a kind of 4 phases on this approach on which the institutions become participants of innovation ecosystems, not only a kind of enablers or developers of ecosystem, but to become entrepreneurial themselves and to be actively involved in ecosystem. So from the research, as I said, it's of important to create new knowledge. But then the next step in Finland was to create partnerships with industries and of course with public sector. The so-called triple helix model was created. Then the thinking and the mainstream discussion was focused on the end users of innovations. And in order to create these innovations, new kind of networking approach was needed. And as I said, there are many types how higher education institutions may become active actors in the innovation ecosystem. And then we could take the next slide. As I said, the entrepreneurial aspect of higher education institution is of importance in this sense that there are so many angles which are fulfilled by the idea of innovation, by the idea of agility in the operation of usually quite traditional academic sector. Entrepreneurial institution is a hub, kind of developing bridges between students, staff members, and the businesses, and provide these opportunities to both parties to meet and learn and create something new. And then, of course, there is affect to the regional development through the competence development, through the innovations, through the changing mindset of how networking and collaboration can be done and created and further developed. So in this respect, I see, and I would like to forecast also that the university business collaboration is something which should be enhanced and further developed during this period of time when we cover from the COVID-19, and of course we are facing the main new challenges from the climate change to digitalization and urbanization and so on. So there are many issues on which we need to be more agile and be more kind of innovative. And innovations are not created alone, as we all know. So these are the ideas I would like to share with you and also to continue the discussion during the panel. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tomi. Some really powerful ideas here about how the entrepreneurial institution could be a hub. I really like this idea as well about how higher education can be used to create new knowledge. So thank you very much for the slides. We'll go to our next speaker, who will be John Samaras from Ndola Chamber of Commerce and Sampe.
Hi, Salomezi. Thank you.
Thanks.
Is Ville online? I've got a set of slides that I'd like to refer to so that we can carry on. I must say, I've been enjoying this Finnish Business Week. It's been very informative and educative in how we're progressing. And thank you for inviting me as a panelist here. I think it's very exciting. So today I'm going to present a few slides with regards to Sampe an online payment solution that we have formed in Zambia, designed for Africans by Africans, and I love it. It's what it is. It's one platform, every opportunity. So in essence, what we've created is the hub, and I know Silamezi loves that word, the hub, because what we anticipate doing is facilitating all the online transfers and e-commerce, which allows people, like the doctors just referred to now, to make education feasible as a business as well. We do believe that value adding is sustainable, and it also gives everyone the opportunity to come into new markets such as Zambia and the rest of Africa. So this is a product that we've created. It's live. It's fully licensed through the Bank of Zambia, and it's very exciting. And it's gaining a lot of momentum very fast. If we can go to the first slide, which is the vision. Our vision is to facilitate all internet payment transactions in Africa at the best price, to deliver a financial solution that has a positive social impact and reaches the previously unreachable at the best price to make transactions more affordable. I think on the last panel, entrepreneurship and digitalization, the ladies were talking about the USSD codes and accessibility in the rural areas to data and obviously information through the phones. So I think Vanessa Menchi, who was from Zicta, mentioned that there has been an upsurge in the digital area, and obviously more people now, with regards to the corona and COVID-19, are more susceptible to using their phones for information and for e-commerce. So I do believe that the timing is perfect, and I do believe that this market is going to grow very rapidly, and people are being forced to use the online position. So, we started creating this 3.5 years ago, and we're in the market now, and it's a pleasure that I can present today. If we can go to the next slide. We talk about SamPay. It's a simple wallet designed in Africa for African e-commerce, development and inclusion. SamPay is all about the following: saving, development, sustainable income, business, and education. SamPay uses technology to educate and develop all our users to become aware and add value in their businesses. So what we've actually done is we just simplified the financial barriers that were barriers to people doing e-commerce from their homes, and we've taken and simplified the actual platform so that people can add value from their laptops at home and create income for their families. So it's a very, very progressive idea. So if we go to the next one, the next slide, please. So we've got financial inclusion. It's just a simple diagram whereby we feel that we're the hub of business, where you can deposit money in most of the banks in Zambia with MTN money, Zamtel money, through your credit card, and through the post offices. More recently, we've done a joint venture together. So our idea is to make depositing and receiving cash easier on the Zambian market. And, not being a major and being an independent private company, look very small in comparison to the big guys. We want to allow our users to use the source of, the deposit area and the receiving of cash in any area easier for them. So it allows them to move around. And also it allows us to address rural areas and areas of low, where people need to send money to, where there's low income and there's not much connectivity. We've got the USSD ports as well. So it's an all-encompassing platform. There's a few products and services on our next slide. If you can see, this is just an illustration of Liquid Telecom is one of our partners. We can load data onto our telephones or our Liquid accounts. we've got the Sam Shop, which allows anyone in Zambia to buy and sell any product. And we've got a number of products being entered in every day. With 4 easy steps, you can actually set up your own store, put on your own items, and create a complete boutique if you wanted to, which is awesome. We've seen a lot of ladies doing it with dresses and the likes, especially shoes as well. It's a big mover in Zambia at the moment. So, it allows easy access, and it's all for free as well. I must reiterate that it's all for free. And how SamPay makes a small commission is on the actual transaction. We've got a facilitation fee. Now, the next slide, which is SamBizi, which we love and we've designed over some time. It was actually inspired as the president of the Chamber of Commerce in Ndola. We had a Finnish delegation come through, I think it was 2 years ago, where there was a number of companies trying to access, the Zambian and surrounding area markets with their products. So, I got to thinking, how do we solve this through an internet and e-commerce platform? And if we go to the next slide, it gives you an indication on more or less how we structured it. So we've structured SamBizi as an online platform for external countries like Finland or even London, South Africa, or even surrounding countries to showcase their products. It could be industrial products, it could be household products, it could be any products you want. You go direct to market, and then when that buyer pays for that item, we use the likes of some of the courier services within Zambia or out of Zambia, international like DHL, EMS, through the post offices, to deliver that package all the way to your home, to your front door. So what we're doing here is that we've created a marketplace, and then what we've done is we've added on a logistics hub, and made, as well as, we always as Zambians always expecting to import different products, but we wanted to set up a marketplace where someone in the United States who wanted to buy a Chitenge shirt that is made in Livingston, they can come on, check what is being produced in Zambia, purchase it, and it gets delivered direct to the States. It's quite awesome. So you open up that market, international market, and you allow the items to be sold straight from seller to buyer. So, that's very exciting for us. And, obviously the brand is Sam, and, we use the SamBizi, the same as Amazon uses Amazon, we use the SamBizi as our reference point. So we believe that we want to be, the African Amazon, to be quite honest. So we just want to have a free market and allow everyone to buy and sell products freely. And we want the African population that are making products to be able to export as easy as the likes of the guys in the States and in China, etc. So that's the one item we've got. And then another focus that we've looked on to in one of the next slides. There's a little bit of information about how we've created SamBizi. I think we can circulate this document afterwards, Villa, if that's okay, or Sulmezi. Can go on to the next slide, which gives an indication of what the actual web page looks like and the marketplace looks like. And go on to the next page. Just gives us an idea of the shipping solutions and how we anticipate to do the logistics. Then if we go into the next slide, we've got a slide with regards to what else do we do at SamPay. So, we've progressed quite strongly in, we've got an expo in Lusaka next week, which is done by Push for Women. So we've actually created Sam for Women, which is an online skills and training program for women. So as ladies come onto the Sam for Women website with an integration from Weave, an international company women can actually go online and develop skills and training and get points towards some loyalty points with SamPay. It's an amazing drive, and it's just been brought on recently, and it's for the development of the ladies in our markets as well. If we go to the next slide, a lot has been spoken about agriculture and how we've progressed with agriculture. There's a lot of insights and interest in agriculture. And what we've done is, through experience, we've created a complete agricultural hub where you can buy and sell agricultural products. You can also go in and use our outgrow products that allow people from all over the world to invest in farmers and watch their crops grow, per se. So it's a complete mechanism whereby you can use we believe in sustainability. So as an investor, you need to create income. And in order to progress our farmers, those farmers need to understand that they need to create for a profit. And if you go on to the next slide, these are who we've identified, small-scale farmers, women in agriculture, agricultural cooperatives, women heading households, and the young population. I mean, 82.1% of our population in Zambia is less than the age of 35. So, development and education is paramount in how we progress our nation and develop our nation. And that's our focus. We need to educate the next population, because let's face it, in Africa, everyone is a farmer, but have they been taught how to farm? So if we go on to the next slide, when I say that, I mean, it's for a reason. What we've done is we've developed the FIGHT principle, F for finance, where we have the confidence in third parties and the investments into the farmer. We've got information whereby we monitor the performance, the weekly and historical data of that farmer. We use technology in the form of the handsets that we're looking at now, laptops or whatever we can get to the small-scale farmers and then the bigger farmers. And we educate by guiding the farmer on how to implement his inputs. If we go to the next, this is a small dynamic that our team came across in Zambia. Now, just to give you some insights, okay, the impact, okay, we're talking about now with regards to what we believe Sam Agri can do. On a commercial farmer, we're getting a yield of between 10 to 12 metric tons per hectare, if not more sometimes, of maize in our fields. Now, the average small-scale farmer in Zambia is getting a yield of 1.6 metric tons per hectare. That is, I mean, it's not even 20% of what the commercial farmer is getting. And we're using the same soils, we're using the same inputs, and we're using the same fertilizers, everything else. So the only attribute that is missing in this dynamic is education and guidance. So we put in...
Thanks a lot, John. I really like this point about education and where you're talking about, I guess, developing the next generation and the future. I think this would be a good point to bring on the third speaker to do an introduction, because I think it ties in quite well with what you've been able to describe so far. Really appreciate this. Thank you so much. So for our next speaker, we have Ville. Let me get the name right. Ville Kairamo, CEO of Demona Global.
Thank you, Silumesi. Good afternoon, all, and was really great to hear you, John, and Laura talking earlier on. I don't have any slides, and in order to save time for the end of the session for a conversation and Q&A, I'll try to be very brief today. The topic, university business cooperation, and the importance of that for the growth of the ecosystem and the opportunity in Zambia as well. Like, it's a topic that almost everyone is talking all around the world, and without any doubt, there is a huge potential in there. But at the same time, university business cooperation and knowledge valorization, or whatever term you may want to call it, is considered to be bloody difficult sometimes for a variety of reasons. And it might be interesting to have a look on that. What are the practical experiences and consider is that how to unleash all of the potential and the creativity and the joint power of that cooperation. So in order to give you kind of a bit of an understanding based on what I'm personally talking today and so on. So we, Demalog Global, we are Finland-based, globally operating social enterprise, running co-creation activities with corporates, startups, NGOs, governments, and on the other hand, universities, and especially students and graduates. And we've been doing this for 12 years. The initiative is established by Finnish industry, namely Nokia, Metso, and a couple of other brands that most of you probably are familiar with. Basically, what we do, we invest our expert facilitators' time into co-creation teams that are consisting of multidisciplinary students and graduates, typically 4 to 6 members each, and run these teams as a continuous global expedition to explore a variety of different topics and themes, societal things, new technology, service industry, business models, end user behavior, variety of different topics, and tracing different megatrends, weak signals, and exploring different kind of change drivers, and then bring large number of companies from different countries to kind of sense the information and kind of make the interpretation out of these outcomes for better strategies and better business decisions, and so on. We also, the other thing what we're doing is that we are also investing and also assisting many startups and scale-ups looking to build international business cases and investor readiness and sales readiness, and using this kind of contextual understanding for common good. Basically, we established our initiative 12 years ago in 2008 for the sake of utilizing the students and graduates in a slightly different way. And I think the key driver for us was that we wanted to kind of bring people from multiple institutions and multiple countries to do things together, and not only limit the scope and limit the target into one institution. And if I'm having a look at the statistics from, let's say, last 12 months or 1 year, we have had participants like students and researchers and graduates from 858 universities from over 80 countries around the world participating. And this year in 2021 only, we're going to have more than 500 teams and a couple of hundreds of companies participating in the activities we do. We also actually, we know a lot what happens in Africa, and especially when it comes to Southern Africa, we have been quite actively working with AGS program and SICE program, that are programs that are organizing this week, and also operated small programs in mainly in Botswana, in South Africa, and in Namibia as well, to explore the potential. And I think in Africa, we see that the potential to innovate is enormous, and also the potential in the youth when unleashing the creativity and building new levels of self-confidence and professional identity. The potential is enormous, and there's no question about it. But then if I'm having a look at the overall lessons learned and some practices we have found out, and a couple of things that makes university business cooperation so difficult. And I have to start with stating that our societies are too often wasting the collective creative potential. we all know the situation when there's a new guy like coming to work for an enterprise and with full of ideas and full of kind of great things in mind. And then around the coffee table, the colleagues are talking is that, yeah, the extra energy will be gone in a while, don't worry. And I think this is pretty much waste. And same applies to many traditional forms of industry academia cooperation, like traineeships, thesis work, project works, where, for instance, students, may they be bachelor, master, or PhD, are being asked to solve some predefined problems. And I think this is worth to be challenged when we want to kind of take the full potential of the cooperation for common good. And if I'm having a look out of having and observing over 5,000 projects we have been running through with more than 25,000 participants, I think it's easy to say that companies should not look at universities or students or researchers if they already know what they're looking at and can define clear problems and are only looking for solutions. Then it's better to look at, well, recruitment, internal development, subcontracting, and so on. But if you're looking at challenging the ways like how you think, or you are interested in exploring topics that are still a bit fuzzy, that makes it difficult to invest in and make decisions, and you're looking at diversity of ideas, then universities are for sure worth of looking at. And having a look, and I think this goes both into research cooperation, but especially when we work with students and graduates, is that they should be looked at next generation experts and leaders with different perspectives, different viewpoints, and not only as cheap labor as well too often the things are ending at. And I don't say that it's anyone's fault or people would be intentionally trying to misuse it. I think it's more or less like, in a way, lack of good support mechanisms, how to kind of like help to get most out of this cooperation. If having a look from the university side, like there are so many things happening like on the frontiers of research and teaching and then this kind of an entrepreneurship and innovation work. And basically one of the advice I would have for all the universities in this room and around the globe is that try to be as clear as ever possible on for what purpose each of the collaboration mechanisms are set for. If it's teaching, well, let's be honest about it. Let's call that this is about education cooperation. And if it's about innovation or supporting, for example, companies in creating new strategies, then it must be so. And then there can't be too much compromises between different agendas and hidden agendas that often are there. And I think this is the number one challenge of universities and intermediaries developing these innovation services and so on. If I'm having a look on to the end of this quick introduction, having a look on where this COVID pandemic is leading. I was in Zambia last time. It's around 2 years ago, and during the last over a year haven't been abroad or outside Finland, and everything is happening remotely. And for sure in the future it's going to be some kind of a hybrid. But I think it's day by day it's starting to be easier and easier to believe in the different estimates that 75% of all the knowledge work will be globally distributed in around 5 years or so. And it is not to save costs or make things in efficient way, but it's about being able to tap into the best possible talent. And what many enterprises and leading enterprises are starting to think that if we don't learn how to utilize the global talent pool and working with academia as well, we are going to lose the game for the others who are doing this. And I think this is the legendary question of $1,000 for both universities and businesses, that how to orchestrate the cooperation and how to stay relevant for example, as an academic institution still in 2030 or even 2025 in a lot more global world than what we know it from the past, from 2 years back. Basically, to conclude and before giving the floor back to Silumesi for the conversation, I think we have seen the potential in Africa for innovation and university business cooperation. We are investing in this, and in Zambia, if I would be a policymaker and so on, I wouldn't be looking at initiatives at single universities or building standalone, siloed, separated things, but I would continuously be looking at different ecosystem level solutions and also creating as much international connectivity and global linkage and networks as ever possible. Well, for the sake of research, business benefits, and also for the sake of creating the new talent generation, which is, of course, very, very important. But yeah, thank you with these words, and like Silumesi, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Ville. This was so many quotable quotes in here. This idea of if we don't learn, we're going to lose. We're going to lose the game. This idea of almost like being a glue institution, allowing people to work together, and this, I think, a really powerful idea about wasting the collective creative potential. I think this is Zambia every day. This is really powerful. So I want to take a little bit of time to kind of connect the ideas from the three speakers together, just at the stage for the questions that we'll be going into. And again, please feel free to ask your questions in the chat. So from Ville, we had almost like the central idea of how we connect these two pieces together. Being able to work with lots of people is more advantageous than working with, for example, individual institutions one at a time. From John Samaras and Sampe, bringing in the I guess the private sector side of things, how you innovate, how you connect ideas together, how you bring solutions to market and things like this. And then on the other extreme, we had Dr. Tuomi bringing in the education perspective as well. So how can we work with what can an educational institution look like if it's thinking entrepreneurially and things like this? So I'd like to ask Dr. Tuomi, what are the benefits of an entrepreneurial higher education system, if you'd call it that?
Okay, thank you for the question. I would see that the idea of entrepreneurial higher education system or institution is actually tomorrow's kind of base for the collaboration between businesses and institutions. As I said, the institutions may create themselves to be enablers or even hubs for the collaboration. So this kind of thinking is needed on all of the levels of institutions. As Ville wisely said, this collaboration is not always the easiest one to start with. In our research, actually, we created a model how the higher education institution could transform itself to be ready for the new era after COVID, and also as we researched the ways the higher education institutions and businesses collaborate, there are at least 13 different types of ways to collaborate, so that the selection, the potential is there. But in the beginning, I would say that the main benefit is that if this transformation is started, then actually all of the levels of collaboration can be created during the period of time. So our advice is that don't try to cover the whole spectrum. Start from something and create your own way and thinking. Create your own networks and listen. Especially to businesses, what are their needs, and learn from them. And don't in Finland we learned a lot from the idea, don't just wait the businesses to come with you, to go and meet and discuss and learn. So that has been one of the best ways to also to develop the staff members, the researchers, to learn to how to collaborate. That's of course one of the learning opportunities, and also to bring and create bridges from entrepreneurs and startup entrepreneurs to bring their ideas to the students and the staff members as well, and also to support the staff members to become entrepreneurs also. So there are many benefits, as I said, and the main benefit is that at the end it's a platform for the innovation also. Thank you.
Amazing. I really like the holistic approach that you're describing in terms of benefit. We're fast running out of time, unfortunately, so I'll do some rapid fire questions. Maybe the next one can go to John Samaras. What do you find is the role of the private sector with regard research and development?
Well, I think the private sector is the research and development. I mean, it's the hub of all the information. And it's one of the biggest characteristics of what we focused on as an online payment platform. What we've started looking at is to make it feasible for the private sector to actually do the research and development and sell that information to bigger companies. We believe that the African market is relatively untapped and unknown compared to the rest of the world. I mean, with regards to retail patterns, what is being bought, you know. So the research and development is fairly, it's very young in Africa, and we think it's a huge opportunity for the private sector to actually consolidate that information and sell it on to the bigger guys. So we see it as an opportunity. I don't know how the other guys see it, but we do see it as an opportunity and something that we can look into to obviously create that value for everyone who's got access to that information as well. Thanks.
Amazing. Yeah. I think one of the frustrating and yet exciting things about Zambia is, as you're describing in terms of opportunity, it seems there's a frustration everywhere you can throw a stone. And we get excited about that because we feel that anywhere where someone feels a frustration is an opportunity for someone to research, develop, and innovate. So thanks for that.
Where there's a problem, there's an opportunity. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, John, your video is on. I'm not sure if you need it to be on.
Yeah. Just thought it'd be a little bit different.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. All right. And then for Ville, you describe it, I guess, at a very basic level, the kinds of numbers of the people that you are able to work with and collaborate with. Would you like to describe for us what it takes to work with lots and lots of different opportunities at the same time, and maybe for a background around this, when we as Bongo Hive work with entrepreneurs, a lot of the time people are afraid that we will steal their ideas. So how do you develop trust? How do you work with so many people? How do you pull these resources together and create something bigger than the sum of its parts?
That was a good one, and unfortunately we don't have 1 hour to discuss about this topic, this trust, and maybe this is like we of course are utilizing our kind of like Finnish society values where trust is everything, but I think of course it all starts in a way with having a very solid IPI backgrounds, agreements, expert facilitation, doing things in a way, in very professional way, as this trust is everything. And when like bringing people from different organizations, different cultures, different religious backgrounds, ability in making them kind of like do things together is the key things, and I think this is the competence and skill what we have been kind of trying to learn, and I believe we have been learning a bit during the 12-year expedition and so on. But I think the same goes into kind of the ecosystem level, and not only to demo kind of scope or anything, but in wider words, that there are these theories of enriching interaction, that what makes certain ecosystem to kind of like succeed very well, whereas others are not so much. And based on many theories, the reason behind it is kind of an enriching interaction, so ability to bring people together who inspire each others, and this includes, of course, that you have to be able to build trust between people with variety of backgrounds and variety of ways of thinking, because the diversity is the key. And building such a kind of mechanisms and such a kind of like orchestrators of this interaction and bringing people together is the key. And I think this type of facilitation and orchestration skills and capacity should not be overlooked when like also investing public funding and so on. And for instance, I think Bongo Hive is doing a super job in a way in this sense, and they are one of the very important players in Zambia in building this connectivity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. We really appreciate that. Okay, so we are nearly at the 55-minute point in the hour. So I'll allow each of the speakers to quickly maybe make some closing remarks. We'll start with Dr. Tuomi.
Thank you. Let's put, yes, okay. So first of all, thank you for the great discussion and great audience and great questions. I think it's all about the willingness to start the transformation. So there are ways, there are models, there are best practices and good practices which can be shared, and there's no kind of any mystery in behind how to create co-creational ecosystems. It's all about interaction between people and not the organizations. So to find collaborative partners, I really hope that this event even has enhanced the new opportunities for us to collaborate and start discussing how we could. I actually would like to lend the words from one of the startup students during the past few years. He said that he would like to begin every morning by asking himself and his team how we could make a better world together, and that's their strategy and their strategic thinking to find best partners and work always together, not alone. So that's something I would like to end up and share with you. Thank you.
Making a better world together. Thank you, Dr. Tuomi. John, would you like to go next? A few seconds for some closing ideas.
Yeah, to be quite honest, I would like to thank everyone that's been on the panel and has presented on this forum. It's been very educative for us as a team and in Zambia, and we see a lot of opportunity and scope as we develop into this space as well. So even with Bongo Hive, thank you very much for your support and the guidance that you've given us. Yeah, and as a new startup Zambian company, we look forward to everyone trying our platform and seeing what it can do and what value it can create on their businesses. You don't have to be Zambian to use it. You can load your account from Finland on your Visa card and send money to Zambia. So yeah, it's technology and we're progressing. So thank you very much for the opportunity. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, John. It's technology and we're progressing. I'll keep that. Thanks. Ville, would you like to go next? A few seconds to close.
Sure. University business cooperation, it requires an open-minded approach from both parties, from businesses and from the academia. And I think the key word to remember is curiosity. and curiosity and believing that the other side has a good intentions always. So this cooperation is not for like resources, but it's about considering that like what should be done next, or what should we do, which is almost always the more difficult question compared to the question that how can we solve problems that we already know.
Thank you so much, Ville. Curiosity, I really like that. So we've come to the end of our session for today, but that does not mean the discussion itself needs to end here and now. So feel free to ask your questions in the chat. The panelists will be available for a few extra minutes afterwards, and you can get in touch with the event organizing team for this event if you have questions further than this. My name is Silumesi. You can find me at Bongo Hive or at Silumesi online. I'll pass this on to Jan. Thank you very much, everyone, for being able to join us this afternoon.
Thank you, Silumesi, and thank you to our panelists. So that brings us to the end of the session. I have just been informed that we do have the possibility, if our panelists are available, we can allocate you to side room meetings if there is an interest towards that. So please indicate availability for possible side room meetings just starting within the next 5 minutes or so. And also, if you would like to meet with one of these panelists, should they be available, please indicate that in the chat and we will facilitate. If not, we will keep the chat open for some more minutes, and we will be reconvening at 1600 hours Zambia time, so that's 1700 hours in Finland, for our final session of this year's edition of the Finnish Week of Business in Zambia. So we will be discussing ways forward, and we'll have an overview on some of the supporting mechanisms for companies starting at 1600 hours. Thank you very much.